I'm Peter Underwood. This is news from the water. Closures everywhere. With major closures across the system, there's been a marked upsurge in CRT's attempts to put a positive spin on its efforts to keep up with a failing system. With disruptive closures just this week on the Canal and River at Southcote Lock, the Rochdale again, this time at Lock 13 approaching Hebden Bridge, the Huddersfield Narrow reclosed between locks 29 and 30 East, Ratcliffe Lock on the River Soar, Ferrybridge Flood Lock on the Aaron Calder, a swing bridge on the Pocklington Canal which will take 4 weeks just to get apart, Selby Swing Bridge of course, which is still closed and has been so since the 19th of March, blocking access to the main system from the whole of the Yorkshire Ouse. And of course the major breach at Newbridge on the Aaron Calder still isn't fixed after months of work. So it's hardly surprising they're trying to put a brave face on it. Although CRT's good news publication Boaters Update has been trying to make the best of the numbers, claiming CRT is working flat out, it simply emphasises the scale of the closures. It goes on to list those that it's fixed fairly quickly, amongst them the Watford flight, the Hanwell flight, Kings Road Lock on the Aaron Calder, and Bunbury Lock on the Shropshire Union Canal. In fact, it took them the best part of a week at the height of the season to fix that collapsed gate. So the PR efforts also spread to the regions, especially Yorkshire, perhaps unsurprisingly, as they have at least 2 and perhaps 3 locks that have seen their wooden floors collapse into cavities which had developed underneath those floors, apparently unnoticed by CRT engineers. One of those took months to fix at Ripon, and the most recent is Lock 24 in Todmorden. And it now seems that Lock 13 in Hebden Bridge, also on the Rochdale, has a subsided floor, which has meant the tailgates have lifted out of their pots. As Heather Fozzie said on the Facebook post from Yorkshire CRT, those of us in this region are really frustrated by the problems appearing on such a frequent basis, apparently as a result of slow deterioration over many years without planned preventative maintenance. Fair comment. Oxford City U-turn. Now, Oxford has long been known as the city that hates liveaboard boaters, but the National Bargee Travellers Association has unearthed some council decisions which suggest a 180-degree U-turn, recognising boats as affordable housing. Now, despite its previous anti-liveaboard policy, Oxford City Council voted to recognise boats as affordable housing in a meeting of the Council's Cabinet in December last year. This came after a report by the Scrutiny Committee of the Council a month earlier, which made a series of proposals regarding Oxford's waterways, including that the Council's new housing and homelessness strategy should consider the implications and responsibilities arising from endorsing the use of boats as homes in Oxford. The Cabinet agreed, saying that the Council recognises that boats provide one of the few affordable housing options in the city. It started with a report on Oxford waterways by the Council's waterways coordinator, Tim Wiseman, who lives on a boat in Oxford, including proposals to improve the provision of facilities for liveaboards in the city and to explore the option of community ownership for moorings. The Scrutiny Committee report liked the idea of boats being used as homes in a city where accommodation is very expensive, but it sensibly recognised some basic infrastructure for liveaboards is missing in Oxford. It goes on to say that as more moorings are created, the need for local water, sewerage, rubbish disposal increases. Committee members suggested that if boats are truly to be considered homes, an equivalence of spending between those residents living on boats and those on the land is justified. Some good news from Oxford. WHARF restored at last. A £2.9 million restoration of an historic Burnley Canal wharf is enabling Canal and River Trust to boost its heritage credentials for once. After years of dereliction, the stone buildings at Finsley Gate Wharf on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal have become a new community heritage and learning hub, cafe, bar, restaurant, function room, guest house and garden. The complex also includes a working forge, which will be firing up for regular demonstrations thanks to 2 local blacksmiths. There are plans there for yoga, paddleboarding and canoeing sessions, craft classes, school visits, heritage tours, light refreshments and fine dining. This is a very historic location. Opened in 1801, Finsley Gate was an important regional centre for the working boats of the 19th century, and it's located on a sharp bend next to Burnley's famous 1 mile long embankment. Recycling specialist wins WATERWAYS contract. Reconomy, a circular resource management specialist, as they apparently call waste recyclers these days, has been awarded a new contract to manage the collection, processing and disposal of hazardous waste for Canal and River Trust. The contract will see Reconomy introduce a range of waste management services and systems to deal with hazardous waste. And although Reconomy already collects general waste from some sites, the contract doesn't appear to replace CRT's more general waste contract with BIFA. Jamie Bryan, Framework Contract Manager at the Canal and River Trust, said that the swift and correct management of waste, and in particular hazardous materials such as oil and fuel spillages and fly-tipped waste, is critically important to maintaining the high standards of the waterways. So it's not clear whether this contract has any impact on CRT's ability to deal with bagged and binned human waste from composting toilets. But there is some progress on that front, in London at least, where Circular Revolution seems to go round and round, this recycling business, is now up and running and says it's offering a simple and safe way to help manage composting toilets, or at least their contents. They're collecting toilet waste direct from boats, either as a regular fortnightly collection subscription service or a one-off pay-as-you-poo option, where they'll collect the toilet contents on an ad hoc basis. It's better and better, doesn't it? That's all for this week. Bye.
We need video and photos of all aspects of the waterways. Email files to peterunderwood2@gmail.com with your name and a brief description of it and where and when it was shot.